So check it out, guys. This has been happening to me for a while. Did some research, found out that on these Samsungs, the springs just go bad after a couple years. So what we're going to do today is swap out those springs and just kind of walk you through how I did it. As you saw on the previous screen, there's a few screws we got to take out. There's 4. And then we're going to be able to pop that off and then expose that. There's going to be a few more screws, some grounding screws. There's 3 of them we got to take off, and then 2 screws at the very back that are the only thing that's holding the rest of the top on there. Once we get all these screws out, we're going to be able to lift up the top of the washing machine. We're not going to completely remove it. We're just going to kind of offset it. Also here, we're going to take off the back so we can get access to those back springs a little bit easier. So this is what I mean when you're just going to kind of pop it off and offset it to the side so you can access those springs. They come out fairly easy. You just kind of got to figure out your hand placement. So they come out pretty easy. They go in pretty easy. Once we get to the back shot, you'll be able to see just exactly what's going on. But that side gave me a little bit of trouble. Had to work it a little bit to get that spring out and spring back in. So here's what I'm talking about, how those springs attach to the bucket, I guess you'd call it. It just hooks in down there. So basically, you're pulling up on the spring to unseat it from that top mount. And then once you do that, you can pull the spring down out of that bottom mount and it just comes right out. So they're pretty simple, a little bit better of a view, so you're able to kind of figure it out. This one, I popped the top off a little bit. That way that particular side spring would come out a little bit easier. As you can see, that green wire is really what's keeping that top on there. And I didn't see a way to disconnect that, so you just got to leave it connected and work around it. And on this particular spring, you got to get that one plastic cable wrapped back around it. So once you do that, all 4 springs are replaced. You're pretty much done. It's the opposite, putting everything back together. That back plate, those 4 screws. We're putting the top back on, just making sure it's seated perfectly. Putting all the screws back in, all the grounding screws back in. Once we do that, we can put that back cover back on that has all the controls. Now again, just be gentle, just make sure it fits in place. And once you do that, you can put those back 2 screws back in and you're pretty much good to go on the back. And then it's the front 2 screws. And with that, everything's pretty much back together. Now it's a matter of connecting the hot and cold water back, getting it back into place, and then putting the drain back in and plugging it in and making sure the damn thing still works. So turn the water on, just checking for leaks. Good to go. Putting it back into place. Now here on the drain, little tip, don't put it too far in there so that way it goes all the way into the P-trap. It's got to be a little bit above the P-trap because if it's too far in there, you can have backups or the thing won't work properly. So testing it and it works. Thanks for watching, guys. Baby! I did it!